Good morning, everybody. This is Laura with the North Raleigh Seed Library. And Anna, I am wearing your shirt. I love it so much. So anyway, I thought this morning I would bring you along with me on a shenanigan. I have many of those, and this time you can join me. So I'm going to try to film this, but I'm going to have to break it up in several different parts to make sure it works. So what happened, and I mentioned it in the US for Friday series last week, I saw in the background of a video this absolutely beautiful metalwork that I thought was an arch, right? Just a regular garden arch, just kind of gorgeous. And so I zoomed in and then I did an image search, and it turns out I went down a rabbit hole. There's something called a whale arch, W-E-L-L, not W-H-A-L-E. So a whale arch was used in France and other European countries. That's really decorative to hold the bucket over the whale, right? And here we're usually used to seeing, you know, the straight pieces of wood going across and the rope and the bucket and whatever. And a lot of times they will have a wishing well. It's got a little roof on top. Well, I was just enthralled by this ornate, beautiful piece of ironwork. So I started looking it up, and of course, it had a lot of zeros behind the number that I found online. And no, because Mike's budget for my gardening is 0. So anyway, I push it a lot. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes with my unauthorized purchases. Many times it leads into a lecture series where I'm not successful. Late last night there was a lecture series that I started, not me giving the lecture. Anyway, you see where this is going. So keeping this under control with pricing, I wanted to show you what I'm doing so that you can too. So you've seen my yard several times, and behind the table and chairs I built a rose hedge, right? It was boxwoods, and I folded a whole bunch of roses over the top of it and turned it into a hedge. Yay. And so I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if I put excuse me, this ironwork over the rose hedge? It'd be beautiful. But then I started thinking about it, and it's like, everybody's going to say, oh, that's pretty, what is it? And then I'm going to have to go through the whole thing. It's W-E-L-L, not W-H-A-L-E, and it's just too much work. So I decided, why not just build a well? So I had these 2 bushes here, and I had a pathway that connected into the pathway that goes over to the arbor, right? And I was like, well, this way I don't have to buy any bushes. Mike, 0 on the bushes, no money. So the rocks I had going up and down the driveway, I have them, the hardscaping was here when we moved in the house 10 years ago, and it was just a bunch of river rock that's just lining the driveway. And so I started picking some up, and I thought I was being stealthy, and I got them built up pretty high, not quite that high, but pretty high. And I hear, what the H are you doing? So I look behind me, and there he stands, and he said, those are for erosion. And of course I'm busted. But anyway, so I continued on, and so here we have the well, the beginnings of a well. And I have to tell you, you know, really, I probably shouldn't go to sleep at night, because as I'm getting ready to fall off, you know, that's when they hit me, these big ideas. Actually, they hit me all day long, but I can really concentrate on them right before I go to sleep. So I came up with an idea. A while back, I bought from Etsy these 2 little doodahs. Cute, right? And I was like, oh, it'll look so good on the fence, the secret garden fence. But then I found this. Oh, it's just, I can't say that, obelisk, whatever you say. And it had one of these. Well, what do you know? Looking pretty good, right? There's like their cousins. So check this. Oh my word. Do you know what this is? I don't. But doesn't it look like something that you put a rope on? And haul up one of these, right? This is an antique from a big box center. So anyway, here's the plan. I got to put this over the well, hang the pulley, hang the bucket. But how in the world is that going to work? What, you ask? Well, go back to sleep and come up with a plan. So I did. I went to the scrapyard, and the guy there is so nice. He gave me this, right? Oh, and I cut this myself with a hacksaw. Don't tell Mike. And check this out. You take this and put it on here, right? Ah, like a fairy godmother. Ding. Okay, then I said, well, I need one of these, like the guy at the scrapyard told me, and they didn't have one, so I had to go to the big box store, right, where I got the antique bucket. So I said, well, I'll just glue this inside of that and then stick the little bottom part. I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, so this I tried to glue in last night and it didn't work. But this is going to fit in here. Okay, see that? Just like that. And then this guy only has 2 legs, and it's going to fit in here. Uh-oh. It's going to fit in here like that. And then the other piece will stick up and go on like that. And then, guess what? I just have to figure out how to make this rusty. And then, because there it is. I don't want to lose my height in my well. I've got 3 pieces of rebar. The problem is they're stuck in the ground. And even though in my mind I'm a super strong chick, in reality, I'm going to have to go to Mike and ask him to help me get it out, because I tried using this and it was not a success. I tried digging it. It was not a success. So here's the thing. This has a hole on the bottom. I'm going to pound the rebar into my well. And then I'm going to set this on top like that. All this will be put together, and I just fit it right on top like a glove, except there's a problem. On the inside of the well, I didn't make it quite wide enough, so I'm going to have to tear down a half of the wall, probably that side, and scooch it over just a little bit. And then this is going to go in here like that. And then this is going to sit over the well like that, right? Then here, I've got a piece of rebar to go across. I have to get Mike to help me dig it out. And then this is going to have the rope that holds the pulley, that holds the bucket, that hangs over the well. Now, in my mind, it works fantastic. In reality, I'm going to have to go through another lecture series, but sometimes it's worth it, right? So it's buggy, it's hot. I've already had a shower. Probably going to have 2 more before the end of the day, but I'm hoping at the end of the day, I can show you something great. So that's the plan, and we shall see. So I'm going to send this out as a teaser, and then I'll put the whole thing up if I get it done. Not if, now, when I get it done. See you, everybody. Oh, I want to tell you, I know there's a bunch of us out there that like shenanigans, so I've been trying to come up with a secret shenanigan handshake for the North Raleigh Seed Library. But you know how sometimes I have to just give up some of my plans? Like, remember the Hill of Despair? I had this grandiose idea, and it was bad on top of bad, and I had to take it down and just scrap that project. Well, this is another one that I'm going to have to scrap because I've been coming up with hand signals. Like if we see each other at an event or if we see each other at some garden, store, place, whatever, we can do this hand signal and we'll know we're North Raleigh Seed Library Shenanigan givers. So my idea was to make a flower out of my hands. So what I was going to do was I was going to fold down these fingers and I was going to put this up like the petals of the flower. But I kept having trouble getting my fingers to do right, and it just looked like I was flipping people off. And I figured that is going to lose membership, not gain membership. It's going to like not strengthen our community. So I've given it up. But anyway, go North Raleigh Seed Library. I'll be back.